Okay, Lori is not here this evening, so as the vice chairperson, I'm going to call this meeting to order. And the first order of business, you were all given a copy of this evening's agenda. If you look over that, and if I have a motion to approve it as written.
Motion to approve. Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, it passes. The next, we were given a copy of the last meeting's minutes. Has everybody had a chance to look through that? Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the minutes as presented.
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion, any corrections? Okay, all those in favor of approving the minutes as written?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, they're approved. Now we'll move to the director's report. Susan or Mike, you want to go first?
I'll go ahead. Okay. So in the Parks world, right, first of all, good evening. How's everyone doing? In the Parks world, you know, we're at a point right now in our year where we're starting to become, in the last week or two, very routine based. What do I mean by that? We're really focused on mowing. We're really focused on getting the ball fields prepared each day for our athletic leagues. We're focused on trying to keep up with all the landscaping, and we're also focused on doing our flower change outs, which we do around 4 times a year. So we're at a time where we're busy just like every year, but it's more routine driven. It's not as project oriented right now. So just be aware of that. I did want to talk to you about a couple other things real quickly. We're in the process of working with community development. You're familiar with, we had some work done at Georgetown Park a while ago where we added a playground and a rubberized surface in the trail and the exercise equipment and those sorts of things that were added. They do have a small sum of money that, if you'll think about Georgetown Park, we did the one playground that was new. We were able to rubberize the surface, but we also kept an existing piece out there that still has sand under it. And I'm working with them right now in hopes that maybe we can get some funding for that playground and rubberize that surface, and we'll be done in that park, less maybe doing some updates to the bathrooms down the road and maybe an update here and there on some other things, but just giving you a heads up on that. So hopefully we'll come the next time we see each other with some good news about that. So be aware of that. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about is, while we're routine based now, there are 2 things we've done recently I wanted to share with you that our staff has been, our staff has been extremely involved in, as well as some other departments in the city, our facility maintenance people, the streets department, inspectors and things like that. And I wanted to share that with you and show you what has been done. So the Public Safety Remembrance Garden, if you're not familiar with this is on Cheney, which is behind the public safety, I call it behind the public safety building. Some people may say it's not, but it's to me behind it. And you can see the walls of the fountain and the lack of landscaping, but you see some pavers down. And you know, the majority of the work, this was truly a team effort by all, but the majority of the work was done by the park staff, and really proud of this project that we took on and were able to complete. We basically worked with the police department, the public safety staff. We worked with some volunteers who helped get this running. This was done with funds that were donated. If you go out there, you'll see some bricks out there with names on them. Those were, you know, they're bricks that you can purchase out there. But they also just got people donating money. And we were able to build this over the course of a couple of months. And we're very proud of it, and a great project for us to be a part of, and something for not just public safety, but the whole city to be proud of. So if you haven't had a chance to go by it, you should. And there's a very good impact of it at night, if you haven't seen it at night, because it does have lights on it, and it's they changed to red, white, and blue. It's just a nice touch. And this obviously the memorial event was held last week, if you're not familiar with that, and we were able to get it done before that. So glad we were able to do that and have a facility at public safety for them to utilize. The other is a project we've been talking to you about a little bit. So this is Northeast Creek Park, and I have obviously the restroom facility and of course the splash pad. And this was a little while ago, and then you'll see as I just go through the slides, and a picture's worth 1,000 words. I really don't have to say a whole lot, but just go through these slides and show you where we were, where we're gonna be and where we're headed. And you can see the bathrooms coming into shape and the splash pad coming into shape and the parking lot and the islands out there. It's all starting to shape itself up, so much so that I believe we're gonna make it in time to open on a good date. And with that, I'm gonna leave it to Susan to talk to you about that.
Good segue. Is there anything else for you,
No,
or is that it? Okay.
that's it.
Well, good evening. Thank you for being here. I would like to take just 2 minutes. The lady that is sitting against the wall right there, this is, this is Melanie Marzette. She is our Community Services Supervisor, and I'm pleased that she's here with us tonight. I just wanted her to come and show herself. You'll see some of the recreation staff appearing at the meetings, but she is in charge of all of the recreation centers and all of the programs that go on for both the summer and the after-school programs, and the staff that do an excellent job with keeping the kids extremely busy and entertained and safe, and they do a great job with the center staff and under Melanie's oversight. So thank you for being here, Melanie. So that said, I will go into a couple of things, and then I'll kind of hit on what Michael was just mentioning, and that is our splash pad. So some of the routine things that we have going on, school gets out in, I've been told 14 days. I think some people in the room might know exactly how many days, but 14 days, kids get out, and we go from after-school programs to summer day camp programs. They're extremely popular. We have lots of enrollment at the Commons, Northwoods. We have Commons Middle School. We have a toddler program, a teen program, and an enrichment program. So Melanie oversees all of that. Lots of great staff to keep the kids, again, having a great summer, give them experience, give them some good social time with each other, hopefully leave the summer with some good memories and some good friends. So we have lots and lots of programs this summer. In addition to all the summer day camps, we do have a full array of swimming lessons. We have tried, and we are very successful in offering swim lessons, but I also want to make sure that the public's aware of those swim lessons, because I feel like it's just a public safety sort of thing. We want all of the kids in the community to know how to swim so that they can be safe when they're not just in a pool, but also visiting their natural waterways in the ocean. We want them to learn how to swim. So those are some of the highlights. We're extremely busy with our athletic programs. The youth ball is geared up. They're having a great time. Come on out to the Commons any afternoon, as long as the R word, rain, is not in effect. But also with adult softball, lots of, I will say, tournaments are going on in our adult ball fields. Thanks to Michael and his crew, we have some phenomenal fields, and we are booking those fields nonstop. So I'm very pleased with not only the economic impact, but just the exposure that we get with all the people that are playing on the ball field. So if you get any feedback on that, by all means, share it with me and let me know if you have any people playing softball on our fields. So a couple of facilities that we have. One is the amphitheater. I think I've been trying to update you on that. It is getting there. I think the last thing we have to do before we open is the sod, and I keep looking at Michael because he's the one that's going to end up doing the sod. So as soon as that gets in, we'll be putting that in, and then we have a full summer of activities planned there. Concerts, cultural arts series. We're excited to be able to we've reached out to some community groups as far as performing arts. Onslow Winds. We have Jacksonville Performing Arts there. So we're excited about some nice activities, and then we'll move our movie series over there. Movie started this past week, but amphitheater's not quite ready for the movie series, but probably we'll move over there in July. So lots of good activities at the amphitheater, and we're real excited about that. It's going to look great. And then last but not least, I'll just backtrack. These pictures were taken as of this morning. It looks fantastic. It is exciting that we have our second splash pad coming online. Fingers crossed, everything goes well this week, and we will be down to the wire, but we plan on opening this on this weekend, as well as the Jack Amyette Splash Pad, as well as the pool at Holiday City. So we are officially into an aquatic sort of venue with our these facilities. And this weekend, we will have lots of opportunities for families to enjoy our community over the holiday weekend. So 2 splash pads and a pool, which is a nice offering to our patrons. You should all have one of these in front of you. You're also going to get one in the mail. But this is an invite. We wanted to be able to invite the public and our our council, mayor and council to this event so that we could at least publicly thank them for their support. This is on Wednesday of next week, so it's the 30th. And we would love to have you come out if you're available to see this officially kick off. It will be open this weekend, just letting you know. But we will have the official opening on Wednesday of next week, the 30th. So if you're available, by all means, we'd love to see you. And we'll go from there, and we'll have a nice opening ceremony, and that should be about it. And then the next phase for Northeast Creek, once we get this done, is going to be all sorts of other good stuff with the shelter, playground, and phase 2. So stay tuned. We have some more exciting stuff for Northeast Creek. That's pretty much it for my updates. Does anybody have any questions on any of that or anything Michael mentioned?
The marina project, I'm just curious how that's progressing.
Oh, yes, thank you for asking. It's coming along. They've hit a good positive stride. They've gotten quite a few of the pilings in. They do have a deadline to get those pilings in, unfortunately, by the end of May due to spawning season. So they will have to stop what they're doing as far as pilings go by the end of May. So we'll see. They've got 9 days as of today, so.
Will any work be possible while they're not doing the piling operation ashore?
I've been told that if they get those pilings that are in place that are necessary and there for them to do the work above water, they can continue that. So it just depends on where they're at and how much work they can do as far as the areas of above water. They can do anything above water, they just can't disturb anything under the water
The
line.
pilings until what, September, October, I guess, right?
But we're excited, it's really starting to come together, and they're working hard. I will go ahead and mention, since you didn't ask, but the park and ride is also coming together. Their finish time is June 15th. It was a tremendous asset during our Jamboree event, which you'll see in a few minutes, but the park and ride has a ton of parking, and it's going to be a great asset, not just to the transit and the folks that are going to utilize it in that sense, but to our activities, softball, and everything that we have going on at the Commons, large special events, you name it, but it'll be a great asset. So that's an update on that.
Okay, before we go on to the reports, does anybody have any old business or new business or questions like that?
Susan, on the park and ride, there's no building
No.
on that lot?
No.
Okay.
No
So
building.
Someone had said something about they thought there might be some kind of a, I don't know, transportation center or something.
They might be confused with what the city got granted in the multimodal.
Okay.
So if you've seen the news a few weeks ago, the city got granted a very nice large grant to build a multimodal center on the corner of Lejeune Boulevard and Belfort, across from Longley. And so it's going to be a great facility, and it's going to house all of the city transit, maybe Greyhound. It's going to serve as a hub for lots of transportation. And Councilman Jackson can probably even share more on that, but that is not what's at the park
Thanks for
and
clearing that
ride.
up.
So, yes,
That's
thank
the
you for
area they
asking.
just cleared recently across from KFC. Over there, I think it's Market
they
Street or
clear it?
Thompson, yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
They're hoping it will be under construction. I mean, it should be moving right along, so this time next year it might be done, if not.
That's also where Amtrak.
Amtrak, thank you, I knew there was a large one.
Amtrak.
And cabs,
Cabs,
cabs will
right,
be located
right.
out of there. They'll be able to have lots of vendors operate out of that location, so it'll be a central hub, kind of like a Grand Central Station for
Yeah, for
Jacksonville.
Thank you for clearing that up.
Yeah, absolutely, thank you. That's it for me. Anybody else?
Anybody have questions or comments, new old business? Okay, we'll go to the council liaison report.
Okay. Good evening. First of all, I have to talk about Jacksonville Jamboree. I was actually asked by Miss Melanie Marzette to serve again. She invited me to serve as a judge in the talent competition, which was very difficult to do because we have a lot of talent in this area. And I was just glad to be a part of that and to showcase, be a part of that showcase for our talent here. And as I mentioned to most of them, none of them were losers. We just had the hard decision of picking 3 people to place in that event. But it was a great event. It's a great event every year. So hats off to Melanie and his staff for getting that up and going.
Thank you.
Also, I wanted to mention that there will be really 2 Juneteenth festivals. One at Wooten Park on June 16th, and I don't have the exact time, but I think they're going to put it on the city website, as well as on the weekend following at Georgetown Park, which is the 23rd and the 24th, which is that Saturday and that Sunday. So, and they'll be announcing times because I forget the times and I didn't get information for it. So anybody can come out. As if you don't know, Juneteenth is a celebration of when the last slaves were actually set free. The word, I think it was 2 years late, got down to Galveston, about 2 years late. So that's a big cultural event for us. Also, hats off for the public safety remembrance garden. I got a chance to go to the ceremony, and it's beautiful. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to see it at night, but I heard it's beautiful at night, and it's doing a lot for the appearance of downtown. Hopefully, we just can keep moving forward and doing that. And lastly, it's budget season, and good or bad, I'm involved in that process. And there's a lot that's asked, and there's a lot that's needed, especially when it comes to recreation. And it's difficult, to make the right decisions, and we can't operate under debt in the state of North Carolina, so we have to cut off things. Don't mean we can't do it eventually for all departments, but it's a tough sell. But what I do invite people from the community is to volunteer. We're a nonprofit, because you could always reach out to us and volunteer in various ways. I know that River of Life, what is it, $10,000 a year for summer programs?
For the enrichment program
Right.
that Melanie puts on?
Right, and is there any other groups that?
Not to that extent, no,
Right,
sir.
but, every little bit helps, and we have a lot of civic organizations and churches, and I would like to invite them to come out and, do some of the things like River of Life would do. That would be a great assistance,
We absolutely would. We appreciate their support, and anybody else, we're able to apply that towards scholarship or hardships for families or any of those sort of things, or just put it towards programs. With that donation of River of Life, we're able to do a whole afternoon program of tutoring and enrichment programs for the
Right.
entire summer. So it is, it's a great thing to be able to be on the receiving end of it, and we're always extremely appreciative of it.
Yeah, and if they can't, they can't do it monetarily, we take volunteers as well. So, and we're looking for mentors, especially in the New River area. So, and the other community center. So,
Thank you.
that's it for now.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Great, appreciate it.
Any questions that I can answer, that I may know the answer to?
He was brave to mention
Yeah.
the budget, but.
Yeah.
Well, since you brought up the Jamboree, I was fortunate to work in the vendor area during check-in. And a common comment, and this is an attaboy or attagirl to Mike and Susan and your staffs, the general comments was that was the best planned and executed vendor check-in that we've had so far. So, good job. Okay, Homer, Planning Board Advisory?
Well, I was set to tell you about our last planning board meeting, but we had a lack of enough people for a quorum. We had one item on the agenda, and that was a zoning text amendment to take care of a situation that was passed on to us through the legislature about splitting up property and heirs. And so we were going to meet and discuss that and then probably approve that because it would put us in compliance with the state. So that's really the only thing we were going to do. And like I said, we didn't have enough for a meeting, so don't get to tell you anything.
It was a short one then, right?
Shortest one I've been to.
Okay, park reports, Bill Ross?
Went out to Wooten Park and It looked great. Appreciate the new water fountain. Well, it worked. Everything was neat and clean. Had about 10 people out there enjoying themselves. Ran into a gentleman, Glenn Futrell, and talked to him for a long time. He was replacing some windows that had been unfortunately vandalized, but talked to him a long time. But the park was in excellent shape. It was well taken care of, and he was also doing, Glenn was also doing some painting out there, some touch-up paint. So, like I said, it was in great shape. Just to add a little bit on the Memorial Park, behind the safety building, I went out there about a week and a half ago and looked at it. It really is nice. You get a chance to go out there and look at it. The staff and the people working it out there and designing it and actually doing the hard work and getting it finished. And the concept and everything is just great. So if you get a chance, people watching this on TV, you need to go out there and see it. It's really nice. I agree with Mike and Brian. It really adds a lot to downtown. They deserve a lot of credit. That's it.
Okay, Lori's not here, so Homer Spring?
Branchwood was okay. Sherwood was okay. When I went out to Phillips Park, even though it was somewhat raining, the park was being utilized, so to speak. I did have a question about the park. I noticed that in the ball fields that the grass is growing in the infield quite a bit, and I was wondering, is that something we do to maintain that, or is that something we allow the teams that are practicing to drag the infields?
Well, we don't drag the infields
Okay.
over there. We're just slowly letting nature take its course there.
Sure.
Yeah, so.
I did have another question, not pertaining to one of the parks. We have a splash pad at Jack Amiette and one at Northeast Creek. Do you know where the next one is planned?
We haven't really had that conversation
We
yet.
have not, but.
And I know.
Thank you for pushing us, though. Appreciate that.
We're
gonna need some money for the budget for that.
And I know when we're thinking about where they go, there are certain things we have to have ahead of time, like we wouldn't put one where we don't have access to water.
Right.
Right.
And we probably wouldn't put one where we have access to, where we don't have any access to parking.
Parking.
And we probably want to think about some kind of spreading out, making sure we've got all of our areas covered.
We
So
also have
that,
to have restrooms.
yeah, so,
We do.
so that all our citizens would have, maybe within walking distance of a splash pad. So just throwing that out, because it doesn't seem like we have one on this side of the river, maybe down at Georgetown or, somewhere else, maybe where we want to look at. Just kicking it out ahead of time. I know it's going to be a while,
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
depending on the money.
Thank you.
I got $1.
Anything can be taken.
Okay, Steve?
Northeast Creek looked great. The dog and I have been over there probably 3 times a week for the past 8 weeks watching the progress. So once it quit raining, it really took off. So I was amazed at how quick everything came together. So I don't know what to tell you. It looks good. People are playing frisbee golf. They're playing baseball all the time. Boaters are out there, so it's looking good. What are we going to do with the bathrooms that are currently up there?
We're gonna renovate those. Gonna completely renovate the entire shelter and restrooms.
Okay.
So it's a popular rental, to be honest with you. It's a large one for us. We have a lot of people that will use it, especially now adding the splash pad. So it is scheduled to get renovated this next upcoming year. So we'll tie it in, have a similar look to the current new bathrooms, and then just tie in the whole that side of the park.
What would be the chances of getting a crosswalk across Corbin from one side of the park to the other?
We can talk with the
Yeah.
police department about that.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, great.
Okay, Joe?
Okay, for LP Willingham Riverwalk, the parks are always in great condition when you walk through. There's never any trash up and down those roads over there. Everything's always clean and organized. people are always fishing off the pier. Even in the downpour this morning, there were some guys out there with, sitting there hoping something was gonna pop up. I don't know. But, the fields look great, even after the rainstorms. The ball fields and everything else have, it looks like everything's really kept up well out that way. The only thing that we've ever had a problem with out there is the court of the tennis court's still just tearing apart. It's just gonna keep rotting until we, get that whole thing replaced, so.
They're getting resurfaced actually next month.
Next month. Wow, that's fantastic. All right, but aside from that, that area is always the easiest one to, report on. It's always great, and everybody's always happy walking up and down there with their dogs or just reading books on the benches, so.
Great.
Is that it?
That's all I have.
Okay, my turn. I went by Brook Valley Park this morning, and it was early, but there was a little bit of litter out there, and there was one car in the parking lot. Nobody was out of the car playing, so I'm not sure what they were doing. We talked about that earlier, but I won't mention that here. I went back by on the way here tonight. The litter was still there. There was another car there, and there were some kids playing on even though we had a pretty good rainstorm about mid-afternoon. One thing I noticed, it looked like somebody taking a bath in the water fountain. It was kind of a mess. I went and cleaned it up myself. It was mostly sand and stuff in there. They probably just rinsed themselves off in there, but that was an easy fix. I stopped by the Northwoods Rec Center this afternoon. People were picking their kids up from the after-school program. The attendant over there reported no problems. I did walk around the perimeter out there, and they've got that rubberized matting underneath the playground equipment, which is great. It's very soft. The problem is there's some grass that's starting to encroach on the side by where the basketball court is, the far side. The rest of it is grass-free, but there's some grass with the stringers coming in there on the basketball court side.
Thanks.
Okay, Wind City Movement.
All
Susan?
right, thank you. All right, so we're just going to give you a highlight of the Jamboree. I guess we'll fast forward through that. Okay, fast forward through that, sorry. All right, okay. Here we go. Oh, they're not playing. Day for us, so we have no complaints on the weather. It was a beautiful day for us. We had a great turnout, and we couldn't have been more pleased to be able to provide it to the community. And so we're just thankful for the support from mayor and council to let us do this event and not charge families. It is free, other than, concessions, and they had nice long lines, which makes the vendors happy. But everything you see there is for our community. So we're thrilled to be able to do it. We have a good economic impact. You saw basketball and you saw softball. They stayed and played all weekend. We have over, I want to say, at least 70 room nights for at least 2 nights. So we had some really good economic impact. Not to mention, when you provide something like that, people tend to either, if they haven't eaten at our event, they still might go out. They go out on Western Boulevard, or they might go somewhere else, go shopping, you name it. So we feel we're very proud to be able to provide the event, and we are now planning, if not next year's, we're on to Winterfest. So while it's going to get hot, we're going to have summer. Please rest assured, we're behind the scenes working on the next one. So we appreciate your support, and we'll be back with Winterfest before you know it. That's it for me. Thank you.
Okay, before we adjourn, any last minute comments, questions, discussion? Okay, it looks like our next meeting will be scheduled for the 23rd of July. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? You can stay here for a while? Okay, we'll see you on the 23rd.